Good afternoon, remote attendees. Doing a sound check. Brian, can you hear me? Good afternoon, remote attendees.
Yes.
Thank you very much. We'll be starting the meeting in a few minutes. Thanks. Yes, great. that first before that? Can I do it right now? Okay, folks. Okay, I'm calling the meeting to order. Peter. Dr. Orris. We're calling this meeting to order. I think let's just go around the room before we get on with the folks online. Let's go around the room and introduce ourselves, and we'll then introduce the folks on the line. Jen, you want to start? Or may I ask you while you have no.
Hi, Jennifer Vitus with the Chicago Department of Public Health, and I support our maternal, infant, child, adolescent health work.
Hi, I'm Karen Freeman Wilson, President and CEO of the Chicago Urban League. Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello, I am Dr. Audrey Tanksley, internal medicine, addiction medicine physician, president of Cook County Physicians Association.
R.G. Schaff, Executive Director at Health and Medicine Policy Research Group, and I am, until the end of this meeting, the chair of this group.
Debbie Santana, Secretary to the Board, CCH Board of Directors.
Okay, good afternoon. Fred Lebed, I'm representing HFMA, which is Health Financial Management Association. I'm sorry about that. I knew Peter. I thought it'd be Jen who would correct me, but then it was the doctor.
So I'm Peter Orris. I'm a physician. I do occupational environmental medicine. I'm across the street at the University of Illinois, almost retired, and I'm a voluntary attending here for many years.
Hi, my name is Sue Avila. I am a retired nurse from the county, and I am here representing the Illinois Public Health Association.
And I'm sorry, I'm representing the Chicago Medical Association. Don't tell them.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna go live.
Should I announce the remote directors?
Sure.
Andrea Kluger, did you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. Andrea Kluger, Chief of Staff at the Chicago Federation of Labor.
And next up is Joseph Ferguson.
Mute.
Joe, I think you're on mute.
Sorry about that. I was that person, first person to be on mute. Joe Ferguson, representative for the Civic Federation.
And the next member is Lan Wynn.
Hi, I'm Lan Wynn, Senior Policy Associate with the Civic Committee.
And then the others remotely connecting, we've got Brian Alston, who facilitates our live stream to the YouTube channel, to the public. And we've got James Balagratis, who represents the State's Attorney's Office, and Joseph Philiquette, and he and Timothy Casey work out of the Downtown County Board Secretary to the board's office.
Welcome, everybody. I hope everyone's doing okay. Nice to see you in person or online. So I think this may be a very quick meeting. I'd like to entertain a motion to allow Lan Wynn, Andrea Kluger, and Joe Ferguson to remotely participate in the meeting as a voting member. If you all recall, if people are remote, we have to approve that pursuant to the rule adopted by this body on October 2nd, 2023. Can I have a motion?
Dr. Tank, second.
Okay. The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Anybody have anything to say on that? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, the ayes have it, the motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, so I already went out of order. What? Okay. And is there any public testimony today?
We did not receive any registration.
Okay. We are, do I have something to go? Hold on, sorry. Okay. Okay, we have to do elections today of our officers of this nominating committee. I'd like to open the floor for nominations for chair of the committee.
I nominate, Marcia, I can nominate you.
You can. I'll nominate you, Peter.
No, thank you. R.J. Schatz from the Health and Medicine Policy Research Group, I nominate.
And Dr. Peter Orris from Medical Association, Chicago Medical. Anybody else? Anybody interested in nominating themselves?
I decline.
Oh, as do I. I'd like to
I'll
nominate
nominate
Susan
myself.
Avila.
Okay, yes, there we go. I was
You're
gonna say, we gotta have a chair, you guys. I don't have.
For the chair.
For chair.
Will you accept the nomination? Okay, I'll accept. Okay. Okay. So I nominated Susan. Can I have a second?
Second.
For Susan Avila as chair? Okay, any other nominations? If not, we're gonna close the nominations for chair. Anybody on video? Okay, we have one nomination.
So, Madam Chair, did you accept the nomination of yourself, or is that
No,
when?
no, I reject, I said.
Oh, I
accept it. Yeah. Okay, given that there are no other nominations, the floor is now closed. We'll vote on the matter of the election of Susan Avila as our chair. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the ayes have it. Susan, congratulations. Will Susan take over now, or at the end of? I was looking at. You could be fine. Okay. I'll help you. Does she take over now? Technically she would. Okay, so do you want to take over now? Good. Okay. Here, keep that behind us.
So where are we?
Okay,
Do
so we
call
have,
for
we,
public testimony?
we did public testimony already, and we're at vice chair and secretary, right? Okay, all right, so I would like to open up the floor for nominations for vice chair.
I would nominate Dr. Audrey Tanksley.
Okay. Other nominations? So if there are no other nominations are made, then I will move that we vote on the nomination for vice chair. Oh, we have to second, and do we move? We have a move, a first motion, second motion, okay. And we will vote now on the nomination of Dr. Audrey Tanksley as vice chair of the nominating committee. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. All right, so we have a new vice chair. Thank you.
For the far right sheet, if you flip it over, we've got election of secretary.
Okay. All right, so I am now opening the floor for nominations for secretary. Are there any nominations?
I nominate Fred Lebed.
Debbie does everything.
And I will nominate Jennifer Vice.
I'm gonna respectfully decline.
Sharon, are you willing to be secretary?
You don't want me to?
About Andrea Kluger. Andrea, are you, would you be willing to be the secretary? Oh,
Marcia, she can't hear you if you're not talking in the mic.
Andrea, are you willing to take on being the secretary?
Me? Oh, so I am going out on maternity leave in a few weeks, so I might not be the best option.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We're thrilled for you, and probably oh no, we will have another meeting, never mind.
Yeah, I'll be in person at the next meeting and I'll prove it to you.
I'd like to nominate Joe Ferguson, unless he's on some sort of leave. I hear a second. Joe?
I don't know, yeah. I don't know exactly what the responsibilities are of the secretary in this context, so I don't know whether it would be responsible for me to accept or decline.
Well, you got Debbie, so you know you can't, it can't be too hard.
Well, I don't see anyone else stepping up.
The pay's not bad, Joe.
Joe, I can tell you that to date, basically the secretary ratify, when we go in and determine which names go to the president and there's the straw polling going on, they help with the counting and the validation of the straw poll results that come in. That's essentially basically what it's been to date.
Okay, so I have your assistance, and basically I'm the independent accounting firm that verifies the results.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. You got
Okay,
that.
yeah, that's fine. All right, then let's put it this way: I will not decline.
Okay, we have a motion for Joe Ferguson. Do I have a second? I second it. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any voting against? Any abstaining? Okay, so we have Joe Ferguson as our secretary. All righty, now, the nominating process, right? Okay. Okay, so we are now at the point on the agenda for the nominating process. Just for people to remember, we have 3 upcoming vacancies and 1 partial term vacancy. So the vacancies are Bob Ryder, who is currently the treasurer, the finance chair, Lynn Taylor, who's the chair, currently the chair of the board, Sage Kim, who is a member of the board, and Bernetta Ziegler, who's leaving before her term expired. She did take a job that was at a state level and was not able to continue. Right. So we have 4 people. What we've done in the past is we've submitted 3 candidates for each of the positions. And let's see if there's anything else. That the president's letter outlined that they wanted somebody with behavioral health, human resources, managed care, and/or healthcare financing. The Lynn Taylor's said that they wanted to have somebody with executive leadership and complex organization, broad-based leader with experience overseeing diverse units and functions. They wanted somebody with strong background and experience in accounting and financing, including audit. And they wanted somebody understanding of employee and labor relations, including experience in working in organizations and with unions. Debbie has talked to the current 3 directors. Ryder is considered for considering for renomination. Taylor, no, that's Lynn Taylor, who currently serves as the chair of the board, and Sage Kim is saying yes. Taylor said no because of increased work responsibilities. So, so now what we have to do is we'd like to entertain a motion to, all right, so let's see, wait. Deadline, okay. Deadline to determine, okay. determine the maximum number of potential candidates for each nominating committee member can submit for consideration for the April 11th meeting, along with the deadline to submit candidates and deadline to send packet to members. Okay, so I'd like to entertain a motion to allow each nominating committee member to submit a maximum number of 3 candidates for consideration at the April 11th meeting. Second, okay. All those in favor of each of us submitting 3 candidates?
Why are we restricting, sorry.
I have to talk into the mic, Peter.
Why are we gotta find 12. Why are we restricting everybody to 3? It's getting harder and harder to find people, I think.
But I think,
If somebody comes up with 4, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
what we've done in the past, I mean, we could switch it, but correct me if I'm wrong, but what we've done in the past is have the number of vacancies be the max for each person. And then in the rare instance where somebody comes up with 4 or 5, I know I have done this and others have done this, ask somebody else who's maybe struggling to even find 1 or find 2. If you share the resume and talk them through who the person is, other people take them on. I mean, would you rather just leave it, are you proposing that we just leave it, however many you come up with, you come up with?
Yeah, I would have no problem. I don't wanna be disruptive.
Okay. So, Peter, do you have a motion?
Well, you got one on the table.
Do you want to amend the motion?
I wanna make sure we're.
Okay, so currently we have 3 as proposed, and what Margie is saying, that if somebody comes up with more than 3, that we would share that nomination with other members of our nominating committee who maybe haven't reached their maximum number. Would that be satisfying to you?
Yes. Do we need a motion?
That suggests we don't need a motion, because we stay at 3, and anybody who has more hands them off to somebody else who has slots that they can use. So that wouldn't require an actual change. And I think there's some prudence in not elevating it, because it sort of creates a scenario in which one person's nominations take over the entire slate of who's being proposed, and that's an odd look.
I agree with that.
Okay, so you're satisfied, Peter? Okay, all right, so we have a motion on the floor, that each member of the committee will submit a maximum number of 3 candidates for consideration on the 11th of April. One member needs to move. Do we have a motion? Okay, and somebody to second?
I second.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any voting no to the motion? Any abstain? No. Okay. Go ahead, Peter.
So how are you handling the vacancy, the partial term? That's a 4th slot, right?
Yeah, I mean,
12 openings, so 12 total.
it's a 12. We're talking about a total of 12 then, nominations. Okay. The motion has been made and second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Okay, we've already voted there. Okay. All right. So what we're talking about is 12 candidates that would go forward. What do people agree that the possible deadline for action on this meeting would be when we met again, right, on the 11th? We would meet again on Friday, April the 11th at 2 p.m. to then vote and move on the nominations. Does everyone agree that makes sense? Margie?
Yeah, but I think we need to come up with,
We have to
are
get
you,
them
are you
together
asking
first.
for a date that we would get them to Deborah?
Right. So we're agreeing that the 11th is
Yeah.
cool. We're cool with that. All right. So now we have to start working backwards from that. Okay. Deb would be sending the candidate packet to members on Tuesday, April the 8th at 5 p.m. And then it's the
same day, it's 2-hour difference. I need 2 hours to finalize the packets. Whatever day you want
Oh,
to
I
get
see
it,
what you're saying is, okay.
my deadline is, the deadline to submit is 2 hours before that, because it's a short term. It's not like you guys are sending me 100 names.
Okay, so what's being proposed is that members would submit to Deb their candidates on April the 8th at 3 p.m.
Why don't we do it at 9, just to give you at noon, to give you some latitude?
I don't need it, honestly.
You don't need it?
No,
Okay.
I plug them in as I get them.
Oh, we're losing.
I know, I will, they're still there.
Oh, they're still there. Okay.
I would advocate for giving, us as much time as possible, just
Okay.
based on,
I agree.
it's gonna take a minute to find candidates, to
I agree,
track
yeah.
people down, have conversations with them, and it's really soon.
I agree.
So I wonder,
So whatever,
but we
when
need to
do
give
you
Deb
want
enough
them
time,
then?
and then we need enough time to read things before
I
we
need
come
2
into a
hours.
meeting on the 11th, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Folks need 3 days, so. Okay. If we don't, then we could make it the 9th. What if we did, midday or end of day on the 9th?
So you're proposing that instead of the 8th, that we submit candidates on the 9th?
Yeah.
Okay. Will that cover the public?
Debbie, is that okay for you?
There's no
Our secretary's fine with it, I'm fine.
All I need is 2 hours between the deadline and when you want it, and
So Jen, is that a motion?
There was a question for clarification. So is there any time, that frame that is like already set for how long we need to review it? Like, does it say anything in the rules that we?
In terms of the notice to the public,
Right.
more than anything.
the
agenda.
only time frame in the ordinance is that the nominating committee has 45 days after activation to give the names to the president. And
Got it.
That's
Okay. Got it. I vote for the longer time too.
And what is that date? What's the 45 days from, the letter?
April 14th.
Yeah, is anyone concerned about mustering a sufficient number of qualified people in what is essentially 11 days?
Yes.
Well, I think we had a good number of, we did have some candidates from before that we could.
Okay, that's a good point. We have like 9 of them?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
had quite a few from before when remember we kind of over.
Yep, I feel much better then.
We always seem too rushed on this
And
schedule.
the other thing is, we have 2 of the former members who are also interested in being renominated, which does help.
Which helps, but our obligation is to present actually 12 names to the president, right?
Correct.
Yep.
That
So
might
we know we'll have a sufficient number of qualified people for her to choose, but it may not, okay, so we've got the 9, and then we'll need 3 more, and we know that, at least 3 more, and we know that 2 are people putting in for renomination.
Right.
Okay,
On the other hand, we have to remember that it's a process with anybody new that we're talking to. You talk to
Yeah.
them, you explain what it is, you tell them what the
Yep.
demands are, and then most of them have to think it through or check with their supervisors or
Yeah.
bosses or whatever.
which was my original concern, but the fact of the matter is we're in a 45-day window that ends at April 14th, so we're kind of stuck at that as the outside anyway.
Right. Because that is only the following Monday, so.
Yep.
We need to confirm the interest of the folks we previously nominated and being nominated again.
Yeah, that is true.
For the record, the matrix that you have in front of you, I did something different as far as the order. I front-loaded everybody that was considered but didn't either get selected by the president or didn't move forward to the president. Those are the first 2 pages of the matrix, so it's there.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I have a question. So one of the vacancies that, we need to produce candidates for is for the president. I guess I feel like I should know this, but clarifying question, and that is that do we need to be sending forward 3 names
specifically for the role of president, or does the board itself select its president?
I would check with Debbie, but
Or the
board is selected
the
their own chair.
president?
The chair of the board, is selected through an election by the board of directors. So you would just
Okay,
be
so
sending
that
names
respected.
for
Okay.
one of the member terms.
I have a question too. Oh. I have a question for this group. So when I talk to people as prospective board members, I say you'd have to commit 15 to 20 hours a month. What are you all telling people? Is that consistent with what you're saying? Because the time commitment is the thing that is the barrier in many of my conversations, so I want to be pretty accurate and that's consistent with the rest of you. Okay.
Yeah. And if there's
I
a
tell 'em-
committee chair or board chair, then you would add more hours for sure.
One thing that has happened, having gone to these board meetings, is that the board meetings actually, if they go beyond an hour and a half and 2 hours, now that was under the former board chair, but it has not gone on where it used to go on for maybe 4 hours. That has not happened under this former board of chair, so I don't know.
May I offer a piece of information?
Hmm?
This was publicly stated back around the end of the 2024 calendar year. The board chair indicated that starting in 2025, he would like to keep the board meetings themselves to 2 hours, give or take. They were going into the 3-hour plus range. We haven't been able to hit that goal because we're right in the middle of the strategic planning process. So but the goal for 2025 board meetings was to keep them not 3 hours, but 2-ish hours.
But the expectation is that each board member would be part of committees, that they'll go to those meetings, they'll read the material. I mean, that's an expectation. Whether they do it or not is another issue.
Right. Okay, so we
I
have,
a question.
go ahead, I'm sorry.
I have a question about, the nomination process and how you want to do it. And that is, we have 3 slots that are the same, and then 1 slot that is this continuation, of the prior. So are we going to leave that up to the president to figure out who fits in which slot from 12 nominations? Or do we want to nominate separately for the 3 long slots and the 1 short slot? Or does somebody want to talk to her about that, or do we know what she would say?
If I can answer based on previous experiences, it's that she just wanted the list of names, and it was her discretion which slots, and that's based on what she's done in the past. I cannot speak for her office.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. So where we're at is making a decision about when we turn in our candidates to Debbie. And the proposal is that we switch the date from Tuesday on April the 8th to Wednesday, April the 9th. Are people, does anybody have and it sounded like there was a stronger feeling for April the 9th, for Wednesday, April the 9th. We would keep the times, I think, the same. So it would be Wednesday, April the 9th at 3 p.m. that we would submit the candidates to Debbie, and then Debbie would get the packets to the nominating committee members, be sending that out at 5 on April the 9th. Are people good with April the 9th? Yeah. Okay. So I guess we have let's see, what do we have to do here? Okay. So I guess we have a motion to set the deadline for members to submit candidates for consideration on April the 11th, no later than April the 9th at 3 p.m. And for members to receive the candidate packet no later than April the 9th at 5 p.m. Does somebody want to move for that motion? Sure. Margie. Second. Okay, second. Okay, all those in favor of the motion? Aye. Aye. Anybody voting no? Anybody abstaining? Okay, so the motion passed. Okay, so now what do we have to do? A motion, okay, and so that's it, right? Now, the next set of expected terms expire probably looking at the spring of 2026, and that would be Jay Batt, and he expires in October 8th of 2026, and Sam Robinson at the same time. So we have 2 additional people that will be expired in that time. All righty. Okay, so anything else? I guess I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting. I just want to go over so everybody remembers. So we're going to be submitting our candidates on Wednesday, April the 9th by 3 p.m. to Debbie, and that we've made the decision that we will work the maximum number of candidates will be 3. If we have additional, we certainly will share that with other members. Peter?
Yeah, a little piece of new business. We've been doing this now the same way on the same ordinance for about 20 years now. And
That's actually a new ordinance, though, or new rules.
New rules for us? I
They
don't
were
think so.
from, I don't know how long ago, but yes, they were new. What?
So the question I have is, and having just accidentally looking over the original ordinance and the list of organizations that we included, and as I recall, that was quite late in the night when they were negotiating this whole process. So it wasn't perfect to begin with, and as Joe Ferguson just raised, the question of time and the pressure of time that this process puts us in every time we have to do it, I think raises the question about whether or not the chair might raise with the president of President Preckwinkle as to whether it might be time to look at this part of the ordinance again and see if, number one, we can extend the time we're looking for people some, and well, it could be any number of things you might want to change, like who should be, what organizations we should be trying to recruit to help recruit people, et cetera. So,
You mean the members, the members of the nominating committee representing different organizations, we may be evaluating that?
yeah, maybe we want to include other organizations and cast a broader net. Anyway, it just seems to me that after 20 years, especially since we used some chewing gum to put it together to begin with, we ought to relook at how it's doing and whether or not there could be an ordinance change. But I think, I mean, that's obviously the president's prerogative or another member of the county board. And so I would just like to ask our chair to raise that question.
Okay, all righty.
He makes a good point. He makes a good point. We've had lessons learned over the last, how many years now, if it's 20 or 10 or whatever, but, it's probably a good time just to hit the reset. Pause,
Okay.
reset, and assess whether we want to make some recommendations, some of them that Peter made and probably others. So I think it's a good point. It's a good plan.
That could be initiated from us as a request for her to consider, or just raised and see what she says. But it's sort of it's a sense of the nominating committee resolution for a generational check-in on the existing ordinance, and she could charge us appropriately.
Yep. How many organizations do we represent? 10?
We currently have 12.
12.
We originally had 13. Midwest Latino, remember?
I remember, yes.
Sorry, I'm not speaking, Mike. Dissolved. So we currently have 12.
12, okay.
And, you know, clearly composition in Chicago has changed some during that time, et cetera, and we want to be responsive and representative of the net that we're drawing for the leadership of the board, I think. Another reason.
And consciousness has changed. Our values and our consciousness of values has evolved, and I think it's a point well taken as to whether or not the organizational composition actually reflects, contemporary mores in full fashion. And it doesn't mean voting people off the island. It may mean just including a couple more.
Yeah.
Okay, so the suggestion is that we initiate a discussion with President Preckwinkle, and who do you see as initiating that discussion or the process for that?
Fred,
Yeah, and I think before that, I think we actually get together and have a working session, whether it's in person or not, to actually look at the ordinance
Right,
and to make some changes.
okay.
Like,
I
I
think
think
that
just a
makes
stipend
some
for all of us, just a small stipend would be nice. That was a joke, everyone. That was, see if you're paying attention to that, but, no, I think,
Is there a subcommittee, I don't know if that would make sense, but a little subcommittee to look at it and to, make some suggestions, at least be able to discuss it in, some broad ways? Because we did do some changes, I think it was about 10 years ago, so you're right, Joe, with the idea of, a check-in.
so I think a subcommittee is a good idea, and then for the chair to just let the president know that a subcommittee has been formed to actually take a look, and we will come back with recommendations if we think any are warranted.
Okay.
And that meeting would have to be a public meeting?
That is correct. Unless it was a work group per se, which would be, right now a quorum is 7, so that means what am I thinking? No more than 3 of you can have a discussion outside of a meeting. And I've got to figure out the exact number because my board is in my mind right now and I can't differentiate between the two, but potentially if 2, possibly 3 members were tasked with doing something, putting that together, it wouldn't necessarily have to be in a public meeting.
So if people felt, if we had a group of 3 and it was a work group, that would have a little more flexibility.
And the term I was thinking of was majority of a quorum. You can't have a majority of a quorum meet outside of a meeting. So it's either, I have to do the math, but it's either 2 or 3 that could potentially, and I don't want to call it a work group per se, but a couple of members could be tasked with putting something together and, discussing something and bringing it back to the committee. That's just one option.
Okay. Okay, so Peter, since you brought it up, would you be interested in, being a part of this work group?
Sure, but I think maybe the easiest way to do it is have the chair take suggestions and at least bounce it off President Preckwinkle, who's liable to turn around and say, oh, hi, sure, that's a good idea, but there's so much on our platter right now, we don't want to do it now one way or another. And obviously it doesn't go anywhere if that's her initial reaction. So I think that's easier. There isn't separate meetings, there isn't concern about open meetings, et cetera. And you could explore that and then come back. And if there was an interest in doing this on the part of the president, then we could go ahead and have a committee to work on the details. That would be my 2 cents.
So you're suggesting we all send to Sue just a marked up copy saying, I think we should look at this or consider changing this? That's your suggestion?
That would, and then you would explore it with the president.
What did you say prior to exploring it with the president? What I want to make clear, and we can not go for a long time, what I want to make clear is the process. What I think is important is that we have a consensus on what we're asking for. And I think it may help not to do it today, but to maybe have a little bit more discussion before somebody went, or me, or anybody, and went to the president and made a proposal. I think we should be clear about what we're asking, and what it would entail. So I think one thing you've suggested is looking at the organizations that are represented, and we're not sure if there's other potential areas that we may be interested in exploring. And I guess I would ask that we have at least some idea before we go to meet with her about that.
Yes, ma'am, I volunteer for the subcommittee.
Okay, all right. Does anybody else want to work? I would work with Peter.
I'll work with Peter too.
Oh, thank you. Okay, all right. So there's currently 3 people. Our understanding, we can double check with Debbie. Is there anybody else? I don't mean to knock out anybody. Then we can meet and we'll just work out the logistics of what that meeting kind of would mean, right?
Yeah. Maybe I can send you an email kind of fleshing out what I think I'm hearing and you guys can kind of,
Right, it would be an informal meeting, at least to clarify, to get some clarification on what we would even be talking to President Preckwinkle about.
sure. And I'll put out the options on the smallish non-subcommittee where you guys are working offline.
Mm-hmm.
I'll point out that if it's a public meeting, we need 6 bodies here for quorum, and it's real hard to get a quorum.
Yeah.
Can I make so anything that's going to be a public meeting is subject to member availability and such.
Okay. So the idea is that we'll bring it back.
Madam Chair, can I make a suggestion? The 3 folks who are interested in taking a look at this, could we just have the 3 of you, on your own time, take a look at the ordinance? I don't even know that you need to do a full markup. I'm not sure it's appropriate for the nominating committee to send a draft revision of an ordinance. Not even sure it's within our authority to do that, but, to take a look at it, make some, relatively high-level suggestions about why we think it's a good time to, revisit these provisions of the ordinance, and, if we need to talk about that in an open forum as a body, set aside a little bit of time when we reconvene on the 11th, and that'll provide you the direction you need to go back to the president to have a conversation.
Okay, so just so I'm clear, what you're suggesting is that we each, the 3 of us, look at the ordinance, just right, and talk it through either email and other ways about what we think are some areas that for us functioning as the nominating committee have presented some issues or questions, and then what we see is our proposal to President Preckwinkle about the various issues. And then we could come together with some little summary and present that at the 11th. Does that sound right or wrong?
That was what I was getting at. I, defer to Deb to make sure that there's nothing about the Open Meetings Act that is problematic with that, and it just seemed like a relatively efficient way of getting everybody's feedback to make a suggestion, as Joe said, a sense of the nominating committee about, some rationale for revisiting the language in the current ordinance.
All right. Does anybody else have anything they want to add to that suggestion? All right, so, Do we have to vote on that? Don't think we have to necessarily vote on that, do we?
Maybe I'll just clarify on the record. What I'm hearing is there will be some communications, but I think you guys want an item on the 11th agenda where we put some time and you talk about this further, ultimately, right?
Right.
That's, okay.
Right. Okay, with us having done some, prep work, each of us, the 3 people, either, Dr. Okay.
Are you gonna have enough time between now and 11th to actually, to look at the ordinance? I mean, is there any magic with doing it on the 11th? I know
We
all
can
of us
see where
wanna
we
meet at
are
one
on the
time.
11th. I mean, since there's no time, the most important thing is getting the candidates. We can at least begin to have an initial
Preliminary
kind of,
conversation.
yeah, we don't have to, I mean, we're not under a time limit unless, and, we'll put it.
Yeah, the only thing I'd say is that if what we're trying to do is have our chair go back to the president and represent the sense of this body, then we probably need to have a conversation in a meeting. And when we're done on the 11th, hopefully we've sent a satisfactory slate to her, and we won't see each other again unless we make a point of convening until next spring or summer or something, right?
And it's so hard to get this group together to get a quorum. I I agree with whoever raised, it puts a lot of work on you guys between now and the 11th,
Well, mostly on Peter, since he brought it up.
yeah, but let's try to.
This committee is a very small part of that ordinance. It's not gonna be that hard.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like a
good.
paragraph or 2 in there.
Go ahead, Debbie.
If I could just provide a little bit of background. I have been instructed in previous conversations with previous state's attorneys, et cetera, that the nominating committee exists only when it's activated. Once you've done your duties, then you're dormant. You don't, there's technically no chair of a nominating committee. It's when it's activated. Now, in the past few years, we've been in such a fluid, like napping, but not dormant, because there's been such short time between being sent to find more names and such, that we've never really had a real good dormancy. Potentially, the way I look at it, and I can check with what the state's attorney thinks, is once you give the names to the president,
Then we're done.
no, not necessarily. You're kind of like napping until those board members are approved by the county board, and they've got, that's my,
Oh, that's right.
that's
Yeah,
my
you're right.
feeling on it. I don't know if that's legally accurate, but it's almost like you're napping, and in that time where you're kind of napping, are you able to meet?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I was kind of viewing it.
So while we're napping, we could meet if we had to.
I think, but I'd need to confirm with the state.
Okay.
It's a strange way of putting it, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I must
Would be
say,
better
I've
to
never
Good
seen
analogy.
napping
So
in the-
practically speaking, isn't this simply a matter of having whatever report back people are capable of doing by April 11th as new business that we conduct on the 11th? If we've gotten someplace, great, there can be a motion and whatever. And if we haven't, then we can figure out whether we need to tip into that gray area.
Right, thank you, Jill. Thank you. All right, so we have agreement. We're gonna work a little bit. We'll see, we'll have it as a new business item on the 11th and see where we're at. And thank you, everybody, for all your ideas and problem solving. So I'd like to entertain a motion, if that's okay, to adjourn the meeting. So, okay, and, all right, and so we will see everybody again on the 11th, and thank you very, very much for all your work and time. Congratulations. Yeah. I'm gonna get rid of the chair.
Are we now napping?